Hello and welcome to MVP Racing's BGWT McGann Trophy League. We'll be covering race 3, which is our second sprint race. Feature races at the moment are a little bit too long for me to cover, so I might go back to them later, but we shall see. This is the first race where we will see championship ballast added to the front runners, so let's see what happened in quali. Right, courtesy of my boo-boo in race 2, I was ballast free and managed to nick pole. So row 1 consists of me and Pilo. I beat Pilo by 0.019, so incredibly tight, and Pilo had a little bit of ballast on, so hugely impressive. Row 2, as we shall see now coming into shot, is the second of the back running cars, so that's KB on maximum ballast, so impressive lap from him. And here we have Racing Snake, probably his best quali position in BGWT so far. So yeah, again, great showing by the Williams boys. Row 3, we see the first of the Infinity Motorsport cars with Fat Pickles Bro. Another solid job, hoping to keep out of trouble this race. And we have our reserve driver, Mental Nev, covering for Evan in the Health and Safety McGann. So yeah, impressive showing on his debut in the series. Right, we then have the two TKM runners, West and Spadders, both carrying a lot of weight, can be reasonably happy towards the front. A lot to play for in the race, so we're expecting good things from them. We then have the first of our Maz Motorsport entries. This is Ickle Pants. Mark doing a solid job, followed by Infinity Decals, the Bossman Dave, again on the cusp of the top 10. You know, he'd be aiming for the top 10, as will the two cars behind him that narrowly missed out last event. So James and Brucey for the Infinity Alpine Racing McGanns, the sister team, hoping to go well. Right, now towards the back we have a bit of a shock. We have the second Maz Motorsport car of Tall Stu. I know he's carrying weight, but it was still a shock to see him all the way down there. So then we have the second Health and Safety racing car of Bazinga, just ahead of his rival Lod Greenpeace, and the only Lod car running this weekend. So yeah, it was a shame Crow missed out, because with the season being as tight as it is, yeah, the team might suffer come the end of the season when it comes to the points tallies. Right, here we go. Alright, so everyone concentrates on the lights, and we go. A little bit of wheel spin by everyone there. Again, no traction control, no TC. Pilo looks like he's got up the inside of myself. I'm late on the brakes. Pilo sportingly gives me a little bit of room. I think that was pretty crucial in how the race was going to pan out. I'd need to keep ahead of Pilo. Yeah, it's going to be pretty crucial for KB to try and follow me through, although that's going to be no easy task with Pilo. You see, closing up on the brakes there. There's a little group of 3 here at the front, looking like they're going to make a little break for it. There's Graham is defending from Fat Pickles Bro. There's a rather large train of cars, so we're hoping to find some gaps. Yeah, so KB's managed to get past Pilo. That's important. And whether Pilo will find himself having a go down the start-finish straight, if he can keep close enough to KB with KB's weight. Yes, Pilo should have the advantage. But he's going to rely on a crucial exit of this corner. KB looked like he nailed that. As you can see, the two Maz Motorsport cars. It looks like Mark is making a move on Simon. You can tell Simon by his Swedish colours on his wing mirrors. Simon again carrying a lot of weight. Mark's also carrying ballast, but minimal. It's tight. Yeah, Simon just lets him go. Go out the throttle, give Mark a bit of room. That's going to hurt him down the straight. Might allow the second Maz Motorsport car to creep up, but go on board for Simon. Mark ahead. Stu behind in a Maz sandwich. You can see Stu closing up under braking. Stu having a good recovery considering how far back he started. So go on board with KB again, running close at the front again. Looks like the two Williams boys have closed back up to KB, who is following myself. So the gaps sort of ebb and flow. I mean, there's a gap and then we close up again as the car makes a move. Yeah, as you can see, he's following me. I'm still punching a hole in the air. I would imagine at this point he's more than happy to sit behind me. So I missed the apex there, so we might have a run here. The extra weight, so the championship leader has to carry 57 kilos. It doesn't sound a lot, but we notice it's having more of an effect on the straights. Yeah, I'm having to defend. Will KB think about having a move? He does. It looks like the two Williams boys are also having a move. So there's a bit of a gap opened up for 4th place in Fat Picklesbro. KB still on the attack. Really don't want to be having to defend this early on in the race. My aim was to try and gap cars, but at the same time I didn't want to lose position. So the Williams boys are all over the two BAP drivers. So I get out a little bit sideways on the brakes. So little errors like this are going to cost me. See, that's closed us up at the front. Let's go on board the Williams driver. I think it's Racing Snake. Yeah, he's got his teammate behind him. KB ahead. Get a good exit here. Again, just misses that apex slightly later on the throttle. But as you'll see, the weight on KB, that 57 kilo really does hurt all the way down the straight. As you see, I'm able to pull even though KB's sitting in my toe. And KB got a good exit. He's going to find himself under pressure. Pilo is also running behind his teammate. Racing Snake has a bit of a look. KB keeps it tight. Just compromise the lines through that. It's allowed Dave, Infinity Motorsport, and the TKM driver of Spadders to close back up. As we head towards the infield section, should see KB close. I did notice as the race went on he was quicker through this. I think the extra weight actually meant the car was a little bit more stable under braking. See the ballast runners in this event. So you had KB with 57, you had Spadders with 38 kilos, and then just behind them on the track you've got West and Stu, both with 47 kilos, and then Fat Picklesbro, Mark and Pilo were both running the 19 kilos. So there was a good few ballast runners, courtesy of tie points. As we look at James fighting Dave, they're not out of this, they're still probably got the sights set on the top 10. As James gets a nice little drift out of there, looks cool, probably won't be quick. So Bazinga's in touch as well, in 13th. Seems to have dropped Marshall. There must have been a mistake somewhere along the line. Is James close enough to have a look at Dave? We won't know. As we now switch to the battle with West has found himself in the middle of a trio again, much like the first race round to Scuba. Nev again is one who's lost a few places. Been a little bit cautious. So it's getting tight at the front. Just ahead, as you can see, there's 4 or 5 cars all battling for position. Very tight. See Mental Nev doing a good job. It's hard to come in to a new series where you don't really know how people race. So he's doing a good job though. You don't want to get involved in any champion scraps when you're a reserve driver, but at the same time you want to have a good showing. So it's a difficult balancing act. As we come into the last corner, most people will be setting themselves up for a bit of a run. As you can see, Dave goes wide. That's going to hurt. That's going to roll out. I think Spadders is behind him. Spadders might have a bit of a run. As we continue to watch Mental Nev closing up. A little bit of contact from West, well held. I'm sure Simon didn't mean that, but that's cost Simon more than it cost Nev, because now Stu is up the inside, so it looks like Simon's going to lose position to his championship rival. Mental Nev hasn't really hurt him, he's still in touch with, is it Mark? Yeah, it must be Mark. So yeah, Stu, a good recovery drive up to 9th. I think he started 13th. You see the two Williams boys are scrapping like hell now, so a mistake must have been made by Pilo. He's dropped back from the lead pair as we watch Marshall and Bazinga. Yeah, so whatever mistake Marshall made earlier meant he's able to catch and pass Bazinga. So he's moved back up to 13th. And these cars are pretty good round here. Quite fun to drive. So look at the two Williams boys still at it. They have been all race. Racing Snake has just managed to have the edge on his teammate Pilo, although it looks like Pilo is going to have a run at him. And knowing Pilo, he will try round the outside, and he does. Well, if you can outbrake Racing Snake around the outside, you're some kind of legend, so well done you. It looks like Graham will have another go up the inside. I did see some contact in the background. It looks like one of the Infinity Motorsport drivers, that's been Fat Pickles Brothers, been result of contact, and judging by how slow Mark is on the inside, I think Mark might have had Dave off, unfortunately. But no, yeah, Graham's up the inside, weren't having any of that off his teammates, so he's now retaken third, and Pilo is fighting off a fast TKM, Spadders. And Mental Never's closed back up. So yeah, it's all getting rather chaotic in the mid-pack. As you see the two Maz Motorsport cars, yeah, Mark was definitely involved in that one. So he's dropped behind his teammate, and also has West behind him now. So costly incident. I'm not sure how far that Pickles Bro has dropped down the order. It looks like he must have been around 13th, 12th, 13th. It's a shame. I say Dave's always had good lap pace, just for no fault of his own. Has always been the victim of others' errors. You see me and KB still going at it. Imagine that consistently though, mid 33s, not having to drive overly defensive. Pace was such that we were still able to get the cars behind, and I think KB was using me to minimise his penalties down the straights. The Williams boys are still at it. Pilo this time up the inside. Can he make this move stick? Yeah. Graham's tucked in behind his teammate. I hope his teammate will push on, because the battling, I mean, if you look at the lap times now, last one was 35. That's a second and a half slower than what they've been going. That's meant they've now dropped back into the pack. So for what was a good third, fourth, you might see the Williams drivers falling down the order. Here you go, David Infinity Deckles running a strong 10th place. Good to see a top 10. James again, not far off. He can see that 10th, and he spent to Scuba following Racing Snake. Couldn't get a move done for 10th. He'll be hoping he can do something on Dave. Look at Marshall. Yes, there's the unfortunate Fat Pickles Bro down in 13th. He'll probably be a little bit annoyed. Another race, good points were on offer. Found himself a victim of incident. Bad luck yet again. Lod's still running at the background, as you can see by his lap times. Looks like he's had a few incidents. Still lapping though. KB, if anything's got a bit closer to me at the moment. I don't think there's been more than about half a second between us the entire race so far. So I'm slightly defensive into these corners. Can't take the usual wide approach. So KB looks a little bit more planted through this middle sector. So gap's quite substantial. Yeah, as we can see, there's been a change for position a little bit further back. It now looks like Racing Snake is up into third with one of the TKM drivers behind him, so I imagine that'd be Spadders. So there's been a mistake with Pilo because he's dropped down the order, and we've missed that. Unfortunately, we did capture you around the outside move though, mate. So yeah, we're catching a good bit. See, West is still running in ninth. So the weight is really seeming to affect him more so than KB and Stu. Stu's now up to 8th, making good progress with a heavy car. So all's not lost. So David Infinity Motorsport looking like he's after a little bit more than 10th. Hopefully James will be trying to follow him through if any moves are made. All bunching up here, so hopefully we'll all see it kept clean. Oh, Mark just caught the edge of that curb, which turned his car towards the inside, which has affected West and I think it was Dave. No, none of them off track though, so that's good to see. So this is now the final lap, so KB's still having a look, but he's not committing to anything silly. He's probably thinking championship. Good result, heavy car, knows I'm light. Spadders again, another one who seems to cope quite well with the ballast, putting Racing Snake under a bit of pressure, but Snake, great result for the Williams driver. Yeah, as you see in KB, the two bypass the drivers, crossing the line first and second. Great result for the team, a much needed result for me. And talking about much needed result, Racing Snake has deserved this one, drove well. Stu managed to take 6th, crack and drive, and Dave gets the last top 10. So yeah, that great result. Bazinga coming home for 2 championship points, which means Lod will get the final result, or the final point of the race. So yeah, good results all round. Shame about the little bits of contact, but when we're running in such a tight pack with such tight lap times, that's going to happen unfortunately. So yeah, looking forward to the next one. I'll see you later, guys.